Titans Peter King said he should have known Brady would leave New England. When he looks back at Brady's demeanor after that loss, King said that Brady was thinking, quote, for a quarterback, New England was hopeless. King also said that he couldn't believe that Belichick attempted to solve their offensive problems by drafting 2 tight ends in the 3rd round. So, Shannon, do you agree that New England is hopeless for a quarterback?
Right now, we're starting to see that there is not a whole lot in the cupboard. Skip, I look up in the cupboard and you know what? I'm trying to think, what can I make with what I have in these cupboards? And right now, I don't see rice. I don't see flour. I don't see any condiments.
And who buys the groceries in New England?
Coach Belichick.
Thank you.
He let the cupboard get bare. Skip, but it's also important to realize, and I know Peter King very well. Had the New England Patriots offered Tom Brady a contract, Tom Brady would have taken his butt right back to New England.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So this notion that
I got it.
So this notion that Tom Brady could not wait to get out of New England is not true. Had they offered him a contract, I'm not talking about after he had already talked to Bruce Arians and Todd and Jason Light and had gotten says, okay, yes, we will accept you. These are the parameters of a contract. We give you 2 years, $50 million guarantee. No. I'm saying if they had offered him a contract, Tom Brady, with that cupboard bare, would still be in New England. That is factual. That's not no hypothetical. That's not no, I'm not sure. Yes, he would have. He wanted to finish his career. He wanted to play one place. When that was not on the table, he says, okay, let me go out here and see what else I can find. And he found the perfect situation. A team that had young, talented wide receivers, an up-and-coming defense that if you didn't put them in harm's way 5-6 times a game, they could be really good.
Yep.
And that's what he got.
And a head coach who is fun to play for.
And a coach that's offensive-minded.
Yeah.
Because he, like I said, for 20 years, his coach was a defensive-minded coach.
Yep.
So, Skip, for me, I don't really know how much better they would be with Tom Brady in New England for the simple fact. The first 8 games last year, Skip, they were giving up less than 8 points a game.
And then what happened?
The bottom fell out.
At Baltimore on a Sunday night, it fell out. It kept falling the rest of the year.
And so what that told me is that when that defense did not hold a team to 17 points or fewer, they were 0-5, even with Tom Brady.
Yep.
So as long as they were holding teams under 8 points, Tom could get to a magic number, and they were fine. When they couldn't hold a team to 17 points, they lost those games. So I'm not so sure how much different they would be with Tom, considering the cupboard is bare as it is, and the defense is playing as poor as it is, and it's being floated around, Skip, that they're trying to move Stephon Gilmore.
What?
Now,
he's simply by far the best player on your team, not just on defense, on your team.
But what is he also? He's 30.
Yep.
And what also did he do? He asked for more money.
Yep.
Coach Belichick, Tom Brady ain't never come in and ask for no money. So everything, that's what Coach Belichick do. He measures everything by what Tom did. Tom ain't asked for no money. And when Tom asked for a little bit more money, they said, you know what? We begrudgingly, here's a little $8 million signing bonus, but you got to get up out of here now. And that's what so 30 years old, you look at Logan Mankins, you look at Richard Seymour, you look at Lawyer Malloy, you look at all the guys. And what did Coach Belichick do? Once they get to a certain age, Coach Belichick is trying to sell high. What you give me for it?
Okay. So, what word have I used to you several times on this show dating back to the Eagles versus Patriots?
Sabotage.
Sabotage. I'm going to use it again. I'm going to suggest it again. And I don't know this for a fact. I'm looking at it from a distance. But what I am seeing is a coach who's turning into what I would call a mad genius, where he's sort of going over the edge into what he believes to be his genius, which is very overrated. I'm going to remind everybody again, before Tom Brady fell out of the sky and into his lap after Drew Bledsoe got hurt in the second game of the 0-1 season, Bill Belichick, as a head coach in Cleveland, and then for 2 years, it's a year plus in New England, was 16 games under 500. Not very successful.
No.
And yet He's obviously, along with Tom Brady, and I say mostly because of Tom Brady, been to 9 Super Bowls with 6 rings. And I believe that he believes more than ever in his own genius, that he has become the classic legend in his own mind. And he believed that as he now approaches 70 years of age, he had earned the right to go solo, to get Tom Brady up out of there by any means necessary, and to be able to at least have the opportunity to show the world it's all about him. He wanted this stage to himself. And for the first time ever, he is participating in a national ad campaign for Subway. And that's why I call him Coach Subway, because they're now relentless. They're all over. He's rivaling Baker Mayfield for commercial time on television, because it's about his ego that he's finally flexing in the wake of Tom Brady. Tom Brady's gone to Tampa. I'm the face of the franchise. And I don't even think Tom
has a national spot now.
No, okay. So I'm with you that Tom's, in his heart of hearts, sure, he wanted to finish as a Patriot. His heart is still in New England. Everybody gets that. But Belichick made it impossible for him to finish, because I believe he finished last year, back to Peter King, thinking no quarterback could survive here with that stuff that I have to work with. His receivers, I'll point it out again, Pro Football Focus said, worst separation in the league.
Well, if they were worse last year, they're even worse this year.
You know what? They are worse because he did nothing to make it much better. He added Demir Bird, who was about the 5th receiver for Kyler and company in Arizona. Okay? And then the great stat is, as Peter King points out, he goes into the 3rd round and drafts 2 tight ends as if they're going to be Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. And guess what? Combined, those 2 rookie tight ends, they have played 1 game. 1 was activated just for this debacle Sunday at the hands of the 49ers, with 1 target and 1 catch. Those are your 2 new star potential tight ends, right? Okay, so it got you nowhere. It got Cam Newton nowhere but on his back, right? Because he can't find anybody open because they're no good. And Julian Edelman, as you pointed out yesterday, he's even worse than he was last year when he led the league in drops. Now he's broken down, beat up shell of himself, and he can't get open. Well, to me, it's Bill Belichick saying, hey, watch me. I don't care what's on offense, because I'll take a bunch of no-names on defense and I'll put it together with my cogs, and I'll show you we can win with just defense. I don't even need Stephon Gilmore anymore. He's a defensive player of the year. I don't need defensive player of the year. I need cogs who do it my way.
And that's, Skip, but that's a part of his genius, is that he's taking players that, I mean, anybody can take an Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack and have a great defense, but he takes guys, the Kyle Van Noy, he takes guys you've never heard of. Stephon Gilmore turned into, but Stephon Gilmore wasn't like that in Buffalo. He got with Coach Bell.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good, Skip.
I know, because we've had Rob Ryan, the great Rob Ryan, on the show, and he coached him there, and he was like, this kid was unbelievably good in the shadows.
He turned him into a defensive player of the year.
No, he did.
And that's,
I got
and
that.
That's Coach Belichick's genius, Skip. It's taking the Tom Brady's. You're not going to get the same amount of credit for taking Tom Brady as you would for Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was the #1 overall pick. He got to, like, how did he find a 6th-round draft pick? How did he find a Gronk in the 2nd round? And then a Hernandez in the 3rd round? And he's finding all these unhidden gems.
Okay, but there are a bunch of swings and misses, too. Whole bunch.
Skip. There are more swings and misses than hits.
Way more.
But it's the ones that he's hit on. He got 2 guys on the All-Century team. Well, 3. Well, that was what you call him. Vinatieri was there before he got there. But he got 2 of his draft picks in 20 years are on the All-Century team. There are not a whole lot of coaches that can say that. So the hits are so great that we forget all about the misses. Look at all those receivers he's drafted.
Or signed. Mohamed Sanu last year. Really?
Wow, there's a lot of misses.
Look, he's trying to prove he is the greatest, that he's the GOAT, and it's going south, and it does look, to use Peter King's word via Brady, it feels hopeless to me. Maybe you see some sign of life. I don't see any sign of life.
But at that point, Skip, you know, I want to prove that I can do it without you, but I don't think, look, I don't think you can make, now you get an opportunity, but let them keep the conversation going. Now, there's going to be a definitive way to determine it. If Brady goes out and wins, Coach Belichick's going to have to win a title in order for it to say, well, see, it was basically 50-50 because each won a title without the other. But if Brady wins a title and Coach Belichick doesn't, Tom Brady's getting the credit.
Yep.
Just like Joe got the credit.
I got it. So in the end, I stand by what I've said for 4 years on this show. I believe Belichick was just trying to make it extremely difficult for Tom to succeed as the Patriot quarterback. It was getting harder and harder because he was making it harder and harder on Brady.
But Tom's MacGyver. No matter how hard you make it, if you give him something, he'll make something out of it.
That's a good analogy. I would agree.
So it didn't matter.
Yep. Give him just a little safety pin, right?
It doesn't matter.
Give him a hair clip.
Oh, yeah, they got, I'm watching MacGyver. A lot of people don't remember MacGyver, but you do, Skip. You like, they got him this time, and the next thing you know, he done turned a bathtub into a motorboat, and he getting on the water, and he done made something spectacular.
Brady.
That was Brady.
Thank you. I agree.
How he took, now, Skip, his greatest achievement is not the Super Bowls. How he got that offense to win 12 games last year. That might be his greatest achievement.
You have finally seen the light. I told you that last year, and you said, "Oh, stop it."
Skip, I'm looking at it. I watched him the other day. I'm like, this dude terrible. They ain't got a whole lot of guys that can go someplace else and play.
And I told you, he drove it 75 yards, actually 60 yards, for the touchdown against Miami in the last regular season game. They had the 2 seed in the palms of their hands, and the defense allowed Fitzmagic to go 75 and 13 to win the game at the buzzer.
I gotta reevaluate some of the things that I said about Tom last year after watching that team play.
America,
over the last 2
you heard
weeks.
it here first.
Yeah, I gotta reevaluate some of the things that I said. Oh my goodness.
Shannon, this is a big day for you.
Yeah, man.
You're admitting here. You were wrong about Tom Brady. Geez, finally listening to Skip and I appreciate that. Question, guys, was the Washington football team close to adding a key player to make a run at the division? We'll explain some interesting details next.